Buy a case and the price drops to a mere $6 per bottle with free shipping. Be one of the first 10 orders and get an additional 10% off your case purchase. That's $5.40 to treat 100 gallons of gas. Call toll-free 866-768-7811 or get more information at fuelsaverinc.com. First 10 orders, save 10% on a case purchase. Act now to save on fuel. 866-768-7811. Call now.
When making important financial decisions, you should always know the facts. That's why Midas Resources is willing to pay you to read the facts. Midas Resources, a team of hand-picked financial specialists with decades of financial experience who are ready to provide you with state-of-the-art, up-to-date financial services. Midas Resources offers a host of services and stands behind their products. In fact, if you call and order their free Midas report, Midas Resources will pay you. This detailed report will provide you with financial history on the safest and most profitable areas to invest.
Every morning at the mine, you can see him around.
This is the last segment. I'm going to be streaming live on prisonplanet.tv. We already did over an hour with Governor Jesse Ventura earlier. I was talking to Chuck Norris during the break. A little bit of it might have gone on the web, but we cut it off. Point is, I forgot to add, and he wanted me to add, that 100% of the proceeds that that he's getting, his 20% or whatever, from the publisher, goes to his Kickstart Foundation for Children. And I know that's a good foundation he has. He's really into having real charities. You heard him attacking charities that don't actually do what they say they're going to do. But, I mean, this is just his book sale, and so this is a pure charity, kind of like Paul Newman and his foods. What a great guy, Paul Newman. What a loss. I haven't even talked about him. I had that in my stack, quotes about him, by him saying, hey, I don't see myself as a philanthropist or some kind of angel. I'm just like a farmer. I believe you need to put back into the soil what you take out. But, yeah, Black Belt Patriotism really is a great book. And Chuck Norris is wanting to support the Republicans because he thought they were better than the Democrats. Now he's really waking up, and he's a supporter of Ron Paul, and he told me off air and on air that, he's been listening to the show for years. And then, he said we ought to get together sometime, and people like him don't just say that. So we'll see. I think you're seeing the evolution of Chuck Norris. I mean, guys, how exciting is that? Because you guys got to hear the behind the scenes. Pretty exciting, huh? I mean, because what's exciting to me is if I just had Chuck Norris on talking about just Bruce Lee or himself or just talking about movies, that'd be interesting, but that's not what the show's about. It's about these icons. And Chuck Norris is an icon. I mean, all these movies, TV, all the appearances. I mean, people love Chuck Norris. And there's a million positive jokes about Chuck Norris. How do the jokes go? There's so many of them. And to see him becoming a Ron Paul supporter. That's why I'm wearing my Ron Paul shirt today, ladies and gentlemen. You see this? People say, aha, he didn't win. Yes, he did. He was right. He stuck to his guns. He exposed the private Federal Reserve. He did a great job. And so today we gave you Jesse Ventura and Chuck Norris. And people say, oh, celebrities don't matter. Oh, is that why Coca-Cola and Disney will pay millions of dollars for them to work for them? Is that why the government always wants celebrities to pitch their wars or pitch their police state actions or pitch their agenda? No, celebrities do matter. And especially when they write a great book like Black Belt Patriotism, and then getting people like Chuck Norris to be on the show and supporters of the show, people like Jesse Ventura, Willie Nelson, Charlie Sheen, Richard Linklater. Let me tell you this. Over a year ago, I had Rick Linklater on this show. A year and a half ago. Director. Well-known director. And just on the air, I had him on about Scanner Darkly that I'm in and consulted on. My good friend Tommy Pilata. Need to call Tommy. I'm so busy. He just called me that. Anyways, I'm thinking here. Point is, as I know Tommy's listening every time I mention him. Anyways, and I had him on, and he just starts going off with, hey, I gave your videos, Terror Storm and martial law to Bruce Willis when they were making a movie here together in Austin, and Bruce came back a month later and said, I'm totally woken up. I'm no longer for the Republicans or the Democrats. Now I see both sides of the paradigm. Now I know 9/11's an inside job. And Michelle Malkin, the same one that said the Marines didn't throw the puppy off the cliff and then I was a liar, and the same one that had her minions try to set me up in Denver and failed there again miserably. She won for a few days and lost. She won the battle, lost the war. It's how it works. The truth will prevail. she came out and said, well, we know somebody that knows him. Didn't give a name. And he says Bruce Willis didn't say that. It's pure bull. Then 6 months later, Vanity Fair. Bruce Willis is on vacation, Turks and Caicos, in a fishing boat, does an interview with Vanity Fair, and says the same people that killed Kennedy are running things now, and are basically 9/11, involved with 9/11, and I'm not involved in any of the parties anymore, and they're all evil. I mean, Bruce Willis was like the #1 front for the neocons, and he was not a bad guy. And let me tell you, this guy was about #2. So you see what we're doing, folks. We are out there. These are good men. They care. They never had the big picture, just like Ventura didn't. Hey, 2 years ago, we go down to an interview with Jesse Ventura with Kinky Friedman. I walk in there. Ventura already knew who I was. Yeah, I've seen some of your stuff. Yeah. I said, here's Terror Storm. Here's martial law. And then that woke him up, and then his son brought him Loose Change 2nd edition, and that made him go public, and he went public on this show. And I had him on about his book, and he just says during a break, he says, hey, let's talk about 9/11. I'm ready to do it. In fact, that behind-the-scenes video, because we shot video in here, is at the end of Truth Rising. That's how the film ends. Is Ventura saying, I'm ready to talk. I'm ready to do it. Because his passion for liberty, his passion for truth and freedom, these are good people. Are they perfect? No. So I salute Chuck Norris. I salute Jesse Ventura. I salute people like Bruce Willis, who I know is getting, I'm not going to say anything, but I love fighting the New World Order. We are taking their superstars and turning them over to the side of light against the dark side. We'll be right back with your phone calls, a ton of news, and a lot more on the one, the only, GCN.
We're on the march.
The Empire is on the run!
Alex,
Yeah!
GCN Radio Network.
Yeah! Cease InfoWars, PrisonPlanet.tv transmission.
Government is best, which governs least.
Wake up and smell the fascism.
Being in government means never having to say you're sorry.
What? I love fighting the New World Order. We are taking their superstars and turning them over to the side of